A very beautiful afternoon to you, dear listeners, to Sleek 101.9 FM, Oweke Delta State, number one hit music station, the very best in African tunes. I welcome you once again to Fundamental Shift, the program where we challenge the norms that shaped us, question the things we were told, and open doors to deeper understanding. I am the Lady D, and today we are stepping into a topic that touches every black person, every African, and every mind seeking clarity. But before we go there, before we introduce the topic of the day, I am not alone in the studio today. I have been joined by someone whose knowledge is very vast, and every Sunday he educates us, opens our mind, and then helps us to relearn, unlearn, and learn. And with that, I would say, join me while I welcome Dr. Oscar Mani. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon, Lady D.
How are you doing today?
I feel awesome. I feel wonderful.
You feel awesome. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, so on today's edition of the Fundamental Shift, we're talking about a topic that we've been on, the miseducation of the black race. It's been going on more like we'll have we're having a series or however you want to put it. So for today, we're looking at a different topic entirely. So today's on, we're going to talk about unlearning the misconceptions and relearning our truth. So this is not just a conversation about history, it's not a conversation about identity, no, about mental liberation, about breaking circles of misinformation passed down through generations. So before we go further, before we start anywhere, I think we should refresh just listeners' memory and then tell them about what miseducation really is, especially miseducation of the black race.
Yes. No, we've been on this journey of the miseducation of the black race, and it's okay to be where you are, but it's not okay not to change if you realize that where you are is flawed. So when we're talking about a miseducation, we're talking about a wrong or a harmful or a deficient education, a deficient information that was passed to you to make you believe differently than you should otherwise. So it could be a formal education, it could be in your life experiences, it could be in your religious experiences. So when I deliberately put you through a process of education that is not correct, or that leads to a flawed understanding of the situation, I am deliberately miseducating you. And for the purposes of the black race, the miseducation we are talking about is a deliberate, intentional process of showing us information that is deficient, information that does not allow us to be mentally active, information that does not allow us to critically question what we are told. And so, how it has impacted us over the years is what is responsible for putting us where we are. So, in order for us to be able to unlearn what we have been told earlier, we need to understand again what it was we were told that is wrong. Because if you don't know what you're unlearning, then you unlearn nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, most of us, we think miseducation means we didn't go to school, but you're saying people did go to school, but they were taught, but what they were taught made them doubt themselves. And sincerely, it shows today. A lot of young Africans know more about European history than African kingdoms. Me myself, I can say that for myself. We recite British monarchs, but can't mention African inventors. And then this brings me to my next question, Doctor. How does this miseducation begin, and what systems were used to spread it?
No, like I said, it was formal.
Okay.
The curriculum that was designed for African schools, and even not only in Africa, they extended it to the black slaves in the Americas. The education did not prepare you for independence. The education prepared you to be continually dependent on somebody else for your survival, on the government, on an employer. That was the kind of education you were given. You were not given educations that gave you freedom to think, freedom to create, freedom to question. You were given the kind of education, no, it's formal, whether it was in the church or in the schools or in the system of governance that was introduced. It was all embedded. Now, and so it was all over you. It became our new way of life. Because first of all, before you can learn to unlearn, you need to unpack so many things. So at the beginning, you will question, how did they make us to learn anew? Now, if you realize that not only that Africa was conquered militarily, which wasn't the major thing that broke Africa, it was the psychological conquer that consolidated it. And we were psychologically and mentally conquered using mostly religion and the missionaries. You couldn't argue with a frail-looking white woman who was talking to you about a God somewhere that you don't know. No, especially if you were a kid.
Okay.
No, so that was how it was implemented.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of the misconceptions that we still carry today as Africans. These weren't just ideas, they were programmed into society through schools, churches, media, and even parenting. So what are some of those damaging lies Africans were taught about themselves?
Where do you want to start from?
At least some of them.
Let's start from the simplest thing. Have you ever looked at the map of the globe, the world map?
Definitely have.
Does it suggest to you in that map that Africa is the second largest continent?
Yes, and we're taught that too in school.
Yeah, but it doesn't show that in the map. When you look at the map, you think that Europe is almost as big as Africa, or that the Americas are as big as Africa. But you can put the whole of Europe and the whole of Americas into Africa and still have space for part of China.
Wow. With Africans in it as well.
With Africans. No, I'm saying if you take the whole of Americas,
okay,
the continent of America, the whole of Europe,
okay,
and cut off part of Asia,
okay,
and fit it into Africa,
okay,
it will fit perfectly.
Oh, wow. It doesn't show that on the map at all.
It does not show that on the map purposefully. If you knew that you were that big, you will feel that big.
Oh.
Simple. The European cartographers knew what they were doing. Show them to be small, to be little people, then they will feel small. So that's the beginning. So where do you want to begin? That's a conception that most of us, if you're listening, Africa is the second largest continent in the world after Asia. No, so just take only the size, the geography alone. It's deceptive because they didn't want us to feel our size.
Wow. I think I would have never had thought about that at all because probably I would feel that they just drew the map so it could contain others. I mean, if they drew Africa too big, there might be no space on the map to draw that one.
There is space. It's a globe. It's a round space. So if you were using the scales, if you were using a normal scale and scaled all the continents accordingly, you will fit it.
Wow.
But you upscaled some and downscaled Africa.
Oh.
So that is the beginning of the deception that we all must learn to conquer. The most difficult part for us today is the religious misconceptions that they give to us. And I'm going to brace it a little bit.
Okay.
Without, I know a lot of feathers will be ruffled, but it doesn't matter. We just want to unpack the truth. No, the facts, our history. The African way of life, the African spirituality, let us start with that.
Okay.
African spirituality, for those who really understand the far and how Africans worship, it isn't paganism. Now, first of all, you need to understand what paganism is to think that, so that you can compare it with African way of religion. And I'm bringing in paganism because when they came here, one of the things that gave them authorization was Pope Nicholas V. That in I think it was June 18, 1452, signed the whatever, I will remember what it's called, a document, it's called Doctrine of Discovery. Now that's the English translation of that. It's a papal bull Papal bull is signed by the Pope. It's a document signed by the Pope, and it's a decree. That gave the Portuguese, and that's Portugal and Spain, authorization to go attack, kidnap, rape, conquer Africans. And whatever land you discover belongs to you.
Wow. But why was that? I mean, why would they say inland you discover belongs to you?
So it belongs to you. And so in 1884, and we have talked about this, when the Berlin Conference, when they sat down and divided Africa like a piece of cake, they were standing on that papal bull of 1452. They used it as their excuse. So that law, and you are going to see the significance of this law and see where we are coming from. You might think we are talking history, but we're also talking modern day things. So this is 1452. Think way back that was signed by the Catholic Church that says Africans are a piece of commodity. No, you can sell them. They called us pagans. That's why I'm bringing in paganism. And of course, they also refer to the Muslims. They use a different term for them. No, that you can conquer them and murder them and enslave them wherever you find them. And wherever land they occupied, you can take it, it belongs to you. You might think 1452 was a very long time. It was only in 2023. 2023, how many years ago is that? 2 years?
No. I think that's over a century.
2023.
Oh, that's years ago, yeah, just here.
2 years ago,
yeah.
The Catholic Church now rejected that document that says we don't want to be associated with it anymore. 1452 to 2023. So it's been law since 1452. So any place you discover belongs to you. It belongs to Europe. No, that's what it was. That's what they did in the Americas too. Even as late as 2005, the Supreme Court in USA, in deciding a case for NEDA, I don't want to go to the details of those cases, but they ruled in favor of the Europeans who occupied America against the Indians who owned the land, because the Europeans who came discovered that part. And so according to that papal bull from 1452 belongs to the Europeans.
Wow.
That was in 2005.
Okay.
So this has been how we have been operating. So I want people to follow me and see why we have been where we are. No, because it's been a tortuous journey. It's not even a comfortable thing to talk about, but you need to talk about it so that you can, if you know where you are coming from, it will help you to channel where you want to go to next. So this is about, I'm bringing in religion now,
yeah.
African traditional religion.
Okay.
So one of the reasons they conquered, attacked, enslaved, and did whatever they did was because they say you are a pagan. And according to them, a pagan is somebody who believes in a nature-based religion.
Yeah.
So it is often polytheistic, meaning that there are so many gods and goddesses of all equal powers. Or it can also be pantheistic, which means that everything you see is divine. If you see a tree, is God. You see a body of water, is God.
It's God.
You see air, is God. No. But that's not what we did in Africa. African traditional religion, we believed in a supreme God. But we also believe that that God has lesser gods. The same way it is in your Bible, you have the supreme God. No, you have his angels. No. Suddenly, in a later time, they equated Jesus Christ with God and say he and the Father is one.
Yeah, one, yeah.
And so that changed the status, and that's debatable, of course. No, I'm not saying that that Jesus Christ did not exist. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that religion has been manipulated in so many ways to oppress and control, especially black people. So when the missionaries were instructed in the Congos to teach you to defer your gratification, what I'm saying essentially is that you don't need to enjoy for here. Enjoy for heaven. Suffer for here. No, when you die, you go to a place of gold, a place of loveliness, a place of beauty, and you have to wait, of course, until you die before you get there. Meanwhile, They are here ripping off your gold, your diamonds, your bitumen, your rubber, your cocoa, just name it, taking everything you have, taking it back home. And they're asking you to be patient, to wait till when your time comes.
Your reward is in heaven.
Your reward is in heaven. No, the education that were formal both in church and in schools, like I said, made you docile. You didn't question. You didn't know. You couldn't question religious doctrines because that's the way it was designed to be. They used Christianity, they used God to justify slavery and said it was God's will. It was signed by the Pope. Who's the next person next to God? No, technically. No, he's the holiest person. He signed it, so it's okay. So the people did whatever they did. So these are the things that we need to know and see how it connects to today, especially this papal bull I'm talking about from 1452. You know what? No, maybe I need to specify it. It affects your property law, land law. So the land does not belong to you. And in Nigeria today, what do we have? There's no difference because it's an extension of the papal bull of 1452. They say the government owns the land. How does the government own the land that you have occupied, your ancestors have occupied? So now, taking me back to the next part of our religion.
Okay.
No, they claim that Africans worship our ancestors. We revere our ancestors. We respect them. We believe in them. We know that we are their extensions. Without them, we will not be. It's not the worship.
Okay.
So, they change all that for us. And so now, a lot of us are confused. We are not sure which one we are, whether we believe in an almighty God, based on an Israel that we don't know where it is, versus the God that we have always referred to, that our ancestors have been referring to. They changed our system of governance, which is still the vestiges of what we still practice today. We have our kings, but we have our legislators. So who's in charge?
I think legislators.
They are in charge, should they?
Not
Are they
at all.
doing what the kings were doing?
I don't think they can't even know what the masses or those in communities need more than the king, and
Okay,
it's a problem.
see, the advantage would have been if you were raised as a community of people who questioned
Okay.
issues, but we have been made to be docile, to accept, not to question, not to think critically. So when they come to ask for your votes, vote for them. They are your leaders. The church prays for them anyway.
They do. Yeah, they do.
No? And so you don't question whatever they do. So they do whatever they want to do. There's no accountability. There's no responsibility. Whatever they gave to you, you felt thankful. But it's your property that they are returning to you in trickles. But you felt thankful because you have been brought up to be oppressed and to take oppression because your reward is in heaven. Simple. So, what is the next one you would like to look at?
Okay, because I'm actually use the word stoned at this time. But since we're already on this part of religion, I think we're going to look at the psychology of miseducation. One part I find very interesting is how miseducation shows up psychologically. I think it shows up more in that aspect than any other thing. You see the way some Africans bleach their skin or prefer foreign accent. I mean, you could take a child to school. I think I saw something online one time, and the parent was like, "Oh, please, I need suggestions on schools where they can teach, where they use foreign accents and then foreign curriculum." And I'm like, how? So I think this thing has eaten more into us psychologically. So the question, doctor, is how does this miseducation affect the black person of today?
Completely. It affects you completely. That you have to consciously. No, let me make a quick point here.
Okay.
See, they miseducated the black race.
Okay.
They also miseducated the white common people.
Okay. How?
The average white man or woman today still votes against herself. They will always vote for things that they will not benefit from because that is the way they miseducated them. So they created an us and them. The black people, the aliens, are your enemies. We, the leaders, will fight for you. So they divide and conquer. So they leave you to fight for the crumbs, and they do whatever they want to do. So that is what many black people don't realize, that maybe we'll explore in one of these things the origin of whiteness. Whiteness was not an issue for so many years. We didn't have a white race. We still don't have a white race. White is not a race. No. We'll look at whiteness sometime when it's appropriate. So now what they have done is to create a division among people to make you think that this person is your enemy. I am going to fight your cause. They use fear and trust. Trust me, I'll do it for you. But they create a fear in you, that will make you fight the person they want you to fight.
Oh.
So that is part of the education that we got too in Africa, in a reverse way that they gave it to the white poor people. The average poor white person thinks that the black person is their problem. The black person is not your problem.
It's not a problem at all.
Your problem is your leadership. But you don't say it because they don't want you to say it. They want you to see. That is why in the UK, they are coming and saying they are taking our jobs. So they are all doctors and nurses and this. But they didn't go to school. How can you be a doctor when you didn't go to school?
It's not possible.
It's not possible. So that is what this leadership does. So how did it affect the black person? Completely, it has bought us hook, line, and sinker. If I can steal your soul, if I can steal the way you think, I don't need to subdue you. I have already subdued you. You do my bidding. If I say jump, you ask me how high, because I control the way you think.
Oh.
So that is the most danger, the most thing they have done to us. They control the way we think. Do you see on TikTok, on social media, I know some of them are dramatics and plays, but there's a modicum of truth in what you see. People lay down for their pastors to step on them. People call their GOs daddy GO. They won't call their husbands their GO. So people will go to churches to wed when the church cannot even give you a marriage certificate. So why are you wasting your money going to church to wed?
They say so God, so they can bless it. I think that's
the only person who can bless your marriage is your parents, your father, not your pastor. The churches know that. If they think I'm not saying it right, let them call in.
So since they know, why do they allow people come and waste all of that money on the so-called white wedding?
They didn't ask you to waste your money. You wanted to waste your money. You wanted to entertain. No, that's your choice. It's not the choice of the church. No. But what I'm saying is that without a church wedding, you have a wedding, you have a marriage. Your father blesses your marriage, you will be the best, and that is all you need. You don't need a pastor to bless your marriage. Wow. But these are all the miseducation that they have given to us. These are all the things that hold us down. No. Look at the dependence on government in this country by people. Our rich folk, what do they do with their monies? They buy private jets. They won't employ people. They won't pay good salaries. They won't invest in Africa. They won't keep the stolen money in Africa.
No, they don't do that.
Miseducation.
Wow.
It's a sign of madness.
I think I like where this topic is going to. So and all of these things you said actually manifests in real life, down to the decisions we make. So do you think this mindset is part of why Africa struggles with development?
Yes, essentially yes. You see, Africa is a very rich sub-region or region, however you want to say, from oil to gold to food to minerals, just name it. We have it all in abundance. And yet we have been able to exploit in some areas. In some areas we have not been able to exploit it. But one of the mindsets that is created is the religious divide. I call it the religious divide. In African nations where religion is not a problem, their technological advancement, their cohesion, their level of corruption is lower. In places where religion has been introduced into, such as Nigeria, corruption is at the sky, because the people who are corrupt, who create the problems, make us think that we are different because of our religious differences or religious beliefs or religious similarities. And so they leave us to fight and kill ourselves, whereas they take the loot and they feel good about themselves. They're not coming to develop the place. But again, most of it has been a continuation of what I regard as that papal bull.
Okay.
No, because if you even see where African leaders dare to stand out and say, enough with Europe, enough with the West, what happens to them? No, the Patrice Lumumbas, the Thomas Sankaras, there are so many of the one in Samora Machel, and so many of them that you cannot, no, I can count 26 of them if I list them out, that has been eliminated, killed by France, by America, or by Britain always hides behind somebody, but they are also part of the whole thing. And because these people said, enough, we want to grow Africa, we want to develop Africa, they find a way to eliminate you. So that's all part of the mindset that we have. And so the few people, the only leaders who thrive in Africa are those who are subservient to the West. Technically, no, they do their term, they become autocratic, they stay for 20, 30 years as a head of state or as a president, and they're not contributing to the development of their country. And the West is okay with it.
Anyways, all of these things are quite deep, but sometimes the issue is not the resources, it is the mindset. Now that moves us or brings us to unlearning the misconception. Now let's talk solutions. You know, everybody listening, so the listener could listen and say right now, maybe asking, okay, I have been miseducated, so how do I unlearn? Doctor, what does unlearning look like for the average African?
Okay. Like I said at the beginning, unlearning all the misconceptions is a long journey. So you need to do it individually and we need to do it collectively. First of all, for you to unlearn, you need to learn to discard your outdated knowledge. So what we are doing here is bringing up to your awareness that the information you have is outdated. It's not correct. It's flawed.
Okay.
So because your information you have about you, about yourself, is flawed, you misunderstand who you truly are. No, a lot of us don't know who we are. We don't understand why we are where we are. So we are showing you all that. So your job now is to let go of your old beliefs. Your job now is to let go of your old habits and your assumptions.
Okay.
No. So begin by understanding that, hey, you are not inferior to anybody.
Okay.
Begin by understanding that, yes, I misunderstood this. That has helped me now. I don't have to be docile. No, I can be able to question certain things I do not understand. Now, even we extend it to our healthcare. We go into the hospitals, we are scared to ask doctors and nurses and pharmacists questions because it's either we don't want them to scream at us, and they shouldn't be screaming at us because one, we are ill, two, we are paying their bills. So, but they still do that because of this docility that we have grown into, this master-servant relationship that we have developed all through our lives, which, by the way, is not African. They'll tell you it's African. Africans are respectful, but they are not docile. So that docility, we have to put it away.
Okay.
So, no, we have to begin to question so many doctrines, whether it's in the church or it's in the King's Palace or it's in the House of Representatives. We need to question it. It shouldn't be business as usual for every leadership position and they come and do whatever they want to do. You see, part of the problem of society is civil obedience, especially African societies.
I agree.
We over-obey. We don't ever disobey. No, and there's a way to disobey. Everything they have done, they have said, we have done. Take, for instance, the issue of insecurity in our neighborhoods. The people who perpetrate the insecurity are openly armed. Those of us who are victims are the ones who are persecuted if we even try to defend ourselves. And what does the rest of the community do? We toe the line. We don't want to get into problems because we are obedient people. We follow the rules. But the people who are making our lives insecure and unbearable don't care. And the authorities, the powers that be, see them armed. Who hunts with an AK-47?
Buddy.
Yeah. You want to hunt, you buy a rifle. That's what you hunt with. But they tell us that they are hunters. And the irony of it all is that they claim that most of them are not even Nigerians.
And they're very okay saying that to us.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing.
Yes, they say they're not Nigerians. So it's because of our civil obedience. That's part of the problem, because of our docility, because of the way we have been reduced by our miseducation. We cannot even defend ourselves.
Oh. Anyways, I think most of us inherited these beliefs that were never examined. We accepted them simply because they were passed down. So what are the top lies Africans most intentionally unlearn?
So the first part of this unlearning is just what you are talking about there. No, your old beliefs, your habits, your assumptions.
Okay.
No, so the second part I started talking about by saying that you should question what is. No, you should challenge the existing knowledge. You should look at the perspective.
Okay.
No, why are we not able to organize our community in such a way that we can bring our leaders to us to question them, to hold them accountable? Why? Why shouldn't we question that? Why should we not be able to call the person we sent to Asaba to represent us in this local government, or the person to Abuja to represent our congressional district? How can we not ask them to say, how can we not be organized in such a way? Where are our traditional leaders? What are they doing to make our lives better? Because if it's good for me, it's good for them too. If it's good for them, hopefully it's good for me.
Definitely.
But definitely if it's good for me, it's good for them. Because if I'm not at war with myself, I won't trouble them. No? So we need to challenge this existing situation. This knowledge is what is. No, there are so many things in our society that we need to question. Why is it that we still cannot have electricity 24/7? Even though that the present president, when he was campaigning, said that he's going to give us electricity within 4 years. I know it's not 4 years. So those are the things that we need to start thinking about. Then recognize, these misconceptions. When they lie to you, know that they are lying to you. If you know that I'm lying to you, you will handle it differently than if you don't know.
I think this issue of light is not something we want to talk about. If we want to talk about light in our country, it's not somewhere we can go today, because it's a lot going on in the country. It's not something. I think everything we are talking about, this miseducation of the black race, looking at it extensively, you realize that we are suffering more in this modern day. But unlearning creates room for relearning. So how can we relearn our truth? The heart of this is the heart of today's conversation. We don't just unlearn, we relearn. We're discovering the truth of who we are. So what does relearning look like for the black race?
Now, for the relearning to occur, you have to completely unpack all the old knowledge and discard them, and you question your existing information and your perspectives, your mindset. You need to do a shift in your mindset, and you are going to base this shift on your previous experiences. We've been lied to so many times, so now when you lie to me, I know. So I know how to hold you accountable in the future. And so I have learned not to accept your lie. So when you come back to me in 2 years to say, vote for me, I will do this for you, I say, no, I'm not going to do that. No, because the last time you told me the same thing, you didn't do what you said. So what are the guarantees that you are going to do what you say?
This time around.
Exactly. There's no guarantee. So I might take somebody who is an alternative to you. And so when we do it and we see that it works, again, there are so many bottlenecks. It's not as easy as I'm making it, but everybody has to start from themselves.
Okay.
So by the time you refuse that bag of salt, that bag of rice from the politician, even though he goes there to manipulate the votes, he knows that he's in danger if you revolt.
But that is very difficult. I'm not trying to go into politics, but there are a lot of hungry people out there.
You see, how do you say it? It isn't the strongest person or the most intelligent person that survives. The person who survives the best is the person who adapts the most.
Okay.
Think about it. We are not going to die of that hunger. There's a lot of hunger. No. So we are refusing to adapt. That is part of our problem. That is why the same promises that politicians made in 1960,
you're still making it.
They are making it in 2027. And we're still buying it, hook, line, and sinker. We shouldn't, because we have refused to adapt extensively. Even though Nigerians have, I personally think that Nigerians are an accordion. If you push them, you keep pushing them. When they get to the wall, instead of fighting back, they get inside the wall. Nigerians don't fight back.
No, we do not. I'm not sure we do. Not at all.
So that is because we don't adapt. We recreate the situation in such a way that it will benefit us, instead of making a move to change the situation. We change ourselves. So, but it's good to change yourself. That is why Nigerians are not crazy. They still say we are the happiest people in the world, in spite of all the problems we have, because we change ourselves too frequently. No, but people should not allow the feeding of one day to, don't sell your child's future, your own future, to satisfy your hunger for today. That is what I'm trying to say, that yes, there's a lot of hunger. They will come with that bag of salt, that bag of rice. How many weeks
and
are you going to?
2 cups of rice.
Yeah, no, maybe 2 cups. How many weeks are you going to spend that? And the reason people accept that is that, after an hour, make I take my share.
I think, yes, I agree.
That is why most people take it. It's not that the 10,000 naira they are going to give to you is going to change your life. You will not even buy a pot of soup. So why are you wasting your time? Why are you reducing yourself? No, why are you dining on the table of shame or on the table of disrespect? You shouldn't do that.
Anyways, I think our power lies in reclaiming our own story. So that brings me to the last question. Before I ask my last question, I'll call out the phone lines, and so that dear listener, you can listen and contribute. Do not forget to still Fundamental Shift on Sleek 101.9 FM or Wake Delta State, and it's been Dr. Oscar Mani here telling us the truth about our roots, because it's just the truth and nothing but the truth. So I'll call out the phone lines now, and our WhatsApp line numbers to call are 0916 200 1019 or 0916 300 1019. You can send messages to those numbers or to our WhatsApp line on 0916 800 1019. Doctor, should I ask you my question or should I take the calls?
Do both.
I should do both. I will take the calls first. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, I am
All right, welcome to the program. All right, welcome to the program.
Dr. Oscar Mani, the man of peace and justice.
Thank you.
Doctor, look at what the current president of America
Okay.
spoke recently, which has created so many controversies on how Nigeria and the living of Nigeria. Okay, those people who came in their time of colonization, divert our attention, scatter our memory, scatter our humanity. Up to now, we are still facing that consequences. Please, doctor, is there any way that we can unite our body and build our nation?
Yeah, Africans need to understand where they are, where they have been, and decide on where they want to go to. No, Africa is the largest market in the world, and so we can build our economy. Listen, I know how you started, and I don't want to respond to that the way I would have normally, but the only way is that the African Union needs to be beyond the presidents, the leadership. We need to also have our own African movements, from a younger age in secondary schools, in universities. They need to have an African Union. That is the only prescription that I can think of that will bring African cohesion closer for the future. Now, we're not thinking about my generation, maybe for the next 2 generations, but we need to begin an African Union in our universities, in our secondary schools, and drive it to people understanding that there is no difference between being in Ghana and being in Abuja. Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Yes. No.
That's the Fundamental Shift on Sleek 101.9 FM. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, this is Sleek FM. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Jack Solo from Abroad Quarters in Luton.
Okay.
I made this conversation just a very little part of it. But the little I heard has not sense into my brain. But one thing I want to ask, I know that with this religion of a thing that not it is literally this rule on Africans, it can never be healed. Because if you go to the churches today, you see old, big men occupying the front seat, and they have the money. And if there is any of your thing, the African way of proving ownership is to swear juju. But they will tell you that their religion does not approve of it. And yet they did not off their hands from what they are dragging. But my question now, Dr. Samali, which way do we go? That is my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Which way do we go? It's like I said, it's individual, and then let it start with each one of us. Understand that you've been miseducated, and challenge your present situation, and choose what is best for you. And that is what the fundamental shift is all about. It's about raising awareness to what has been and showing you that there are other paths that are possible for you to follow. And it's your choice which path you choose to follow. We won't tell you which to follow, but we know that when you make a move, when you try something new, you're probably going to like it better because it will be to your benefit more. So individually, for Africans, we need to understand that we have been grossly miseducated. There is a lot of tension even between blacks who are Americans or blacks. Go to South Africa as a Nigerian and see the way they talk to you and deal with you. But when they were in their moments of need, Nigeria came to their rescue. But this is all part of the miseducation. So that is why part of my only prescription is that we should have an African Union at the lower level. The same way they damaged our thinking from kindergarten, primary schools in the, what do you call that, in the Sunday schools?
Yes, in the schools.
No, we can rebuild Pan-Africanism from the Sunday schools level as well.
Hello?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
This is Nick FM. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Fred. I'm calling from it.
All right, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Please, I want to ask the doctor, this issue of Christianity now, the issue of religion in Ireland. We have different forms of religion. We have the Hinduism, we have Christianity, we have Muslim, we have traditional way of worship. If it were to be by paradox that Christianity is the only way, what will happen to other religious segments? What will be their
Well, I don't have an answer for that because I agree. I asked the same question you ask. Now, for me, religion is a different kettle of fish. I handle it differently. People become emotional when you talk about religion, but what I know is that all these foreign religions that they have introduced to us don't work for me. It could work for you, good luck, but they don't work for me.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
This is Lick FM. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Accra.
All right, Victor, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. It's an issue that
Okay.
sorry, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. And you, as the sister, you see, actually asking that question.
Okay.
That why people are wasting money on traditional, white work. And someone said, if the pastor can challenge by calling that you receive more to them. Because he said normal wedding is supposed to be father and mother blessing.
Yep.
That's why they calling for white wedding. and it's a waste of money.
Complete waste of money.
glad
Ask your
that
question.
Two of the pastor can call and throw more light with Salman that issue. Thank you very much.
He said he should throw more light on the issue of white weddings being a waste of money.
All right, let's begin. Let's look at Nigerian laws. Now, for those of us who are married, and for people who have been married, when you get married at the church doesn't have any document to give to you to begin with.
Okay.
The only document they give to you is from the local government office.
Okay.
So you could as well take your wife or your wife to be, your father, your mother, her father, her mother, walk into the local government office, sign the register, you get your marriage. You have a certificate, you are married. Fine. End of story. You spend maybe 1,000 naira. You are married. Your father prays for both of you, blesses both of you. Your life is going to prosper. And that is what it is. But if you choose to entertain, to show off that you are married, that you have joined the club, it's up to you. You can waste all the money that you want to. No, so that is legally. Legally, the only person who gives you a certificate of marriage in this country is the local government, not the church. The church does not give you any certificates.
But there are some certificates that are given in church.
It is from the local government.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the next thing that you want to understand is the only marriage that is actually recognized here is our traditional marriage. It's not the church marriage. When families come and exchange pleasantries and exchange the bride price, that is the marriage. At the end of that, you're married. Africans are the only ones who marry the same person twice. Every time you marry somebody twice, you go to the church, you go to the court. Some people even do 3 times. They go to the parents to marry the child, which is the right thing to do. They go to court, which is the local government, and then they go to the church. Come on. We like to party. That's what it is.
I don't think so. I'm sorry to cut you off, cut you short, doctor. But lately, if you're trying to get married or you are married, and then it's only in the church to give you a particular type of wedding band, and then people segregate people by the bands that they wear. They're like, "Oh, you don't have a wedding band. That means you're not married in the church."
Aha. Do you see any here?
No, doctor.
Am I not married?
You're married.
Happily married with 4 kids. We've been married for over 30 years. What am I saying? Almost 40 years. You don't need a band. What is the band for? The band is in your heart. It's not in your fingers.
But not in this generation. I think people do not believe that.
Well, that is part of your miseducation. You need to re-educate yourself. You need to re-educate yourself.
Wow.
No, it's like when we're talking about funerals and people spend all this money on funerals. Why do we do that?
Bury your person in the ground style.
Yeah, why?
That's it. You should bury your
The
person in
same
the ground
thing.
style.
Why are you burying the person in the grand style? Why? To whose benefit is that? Is it to the benefit of the departed or for your own satisfaction? If you are doing it for your own satisfaction, all well and good. You are entitled to entertain as many people as you want to entertain. But don't do it in the name. I mean, it would be even nicer if you were going to celebrate your mom for her 90th birthday. No? Whether she was there or not, that is more positive than. Come on, let's go ahead.
I know we have some messages here. Don't say I know this message might not be read out, but everything that the gentleman is saying is absolutely true. This program needs to be encouraged. Kudos to you. Don't say good afternoon, Sleek FM Radio. I am Godsoul from OWA. I would like to appreciate the platform provided to us to unlearn, learn, and relearn some important facts about Africa. How can the change we desire come to pass when we are not united? When we decide to make certain changes, some individuals who also suffer from bad leadership betray themselves to suit their selfish interests.
You're absolutely correct. Just keep trying, and maybe we can win each other's souls. No, I'm not saying you should go and evangelize, but you can on your own. If you believe in what you are saying, if you have seen the fact that this is the truth, this is the history, this is the trajectory, and you can predict it is scientific, because you can keep doing the same thing that is going to move you to the next step. And other people who see it are going to do the same thing. And hopefully, 50 years from now, we'll have a new Africa.
50 years, that's a long time.
Not a long time. It's taken about 400 years and 141 years of active colonialism to keep us where we are.
Anyways, before we go, one last thing. So if you had one final truth for every black person listening today, what would it be, like in a minute?
Adapt. Learn to adapt. Like I said, along the line, it's not the strongest or the most intelligent species that survive. It is the species that adapts the most. Africans do adapt, but our adaptability needs to stop at docility. We need to move from not thinking and questioning to thinking and questioning. If you cannot think and question, you cannot grow. You stay docile.
And since we still have about a few seconds, do you think parents leaders, and teachers can attribute to helping to relearn, unlearn, and learn?
Oh yes, it should start from the home.
Okay.
No, it should start from the home. There are so many things that we do for our children, and let me give you an example of how parents are even increasing the miseducation here. No, we force our children to a certain level of educational standard that we didn't go through, and yet we are what we are. No, parents, and I'm going to be very blunt, parents are known in our communities to cheat for their children to advance academically.
Okay.
It is not to the child's advantage in
Doctor,
any
I have
way.
to cut you. We don't have time anymore.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Dr. Oscar Mani. And to you, dear listener, remember this: miseducation is powerful, but self-education is even more powerful. Join us every Sunday at exactly 2 o'clock for beautiful editions of Fundamental Shift. Until I come your way again, remember the Fundamental Shift. Stay curious, stay conscious. It's the Sleek 101.9 FM.
Sleek FM.
Your number one hit music station.